The Committee on Parole is back in session. Time is 1:22 p.m. The remote location is Iberville Parish Jail. With the staff at Iberville, please introduce yourself. With the staff at Iberville, please introduce yourself.
This is Iberia, sir.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Sergeant.
I'm sorry. We're at Iberia Parish in Southwest. Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So please, at Iberia, please introduce yourself.
Sergeant Norman.
Any other person? Is there anyone else in the room?
Deputy Tarver.
Thank you, Deputy Tarver and Sergeant Norman. Would the offender please give his full name and his Department of Corrections ID?
Kaleb Seraille, my partner correction, my DOC number?
Yes.
721-778.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sherrill. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir.
And my name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Mrs. Pearl Wise. To my right is Heath Freeman. You're here for a revocation hearing, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have a revocation questionnaire in front of you.
No, not really. Ready to get it started.
Do you have a revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Oh, to X.
You have a question to ask you.
Yeah, I got it. Right here.
Okay, great. Is everything on that questionnaire correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature at the bottom of the sheet?
Yes, sir.
Dated February 7th, 2023.
Yes, sir.
Did you have an attorney at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir.
Did you want an attorney at this hearing?
No, sir. I represent myself.
Okay, so you want to proceed without an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sherrill, you're here because you have been accused of violating the conditions of your parole contract. I'm going to read the violations, and you have options. You can plead guilty with a statement, not guilty with a statement. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
The parole board is conducting a revocation hearing because you have been accused of violating the following conditions. Number 2, you were directed to meet with your parole officer at your residence on D.L. Lane in Broussard, Louisiana, on Thursday, December 28, 2021. Failed to report your parole officer in Lafayette as instructed in May of 2022.
Yes, sir.
You have not reported to the your parole officer in Lafayette since May of 2022. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Condition number 3. You move from your residence located on Ed L. in Broussard on or about fall of 2021, and you did not advise your parole officer that you were moving or you had a new address. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
You want to make a statement?
Yes, sir. I never, yes, sir.
Okay, let's read the charges and then we'll come back to the statement.
Okay.
Condition number 3 again. In December of 2021, you reported that you moved to Sunset, Louisiana. A transfer request was sent to the bill plat office, which that request was denied because you could not locate it. After that date, you made your whereabouts unknown. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Condition number 4. On January 28, 2022, you tested positive for marijuana use. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Condition number 8. You made your whereabouts unknown and you did not report to the parole officer. Thus, you could not make a drug screen possible. How do you plead?
Guilty, guilty, guilty. Guilty for that one here. I did not see him today. Guilty.
What is simply saying that the parole officer could not find you to administer a drug screen because your whereabouts were unknown. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Number 9, you made your whereabouts unknown, thus making home visits impossible. How do you plead?
Can you repeat that, sir?
Condition number 9, you made your whereabouts unknown, therefore the parole officer could not make home visits.
Not guilty.
Yep.
Not guilty. Your Honor.
In a statement.
Cause the last phone,
Sir, let me finish the violation. Condition number 10. You're currently $727 in the rears towards your supervision fee. How do you plead?
guilty.
You didn't do number 3. Oh, in condition number 3, January of 23, January 2023, you were arrested in the state of Arkansas. Did not have permission to be in the state of Arkansas. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, the case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you please answer Mr. Freeman's question? And thank you, Ms. White.
Okay, Mr. I'm gonna just call you Kaleb. Kaleb, when you moved to Sunset, why couldn't they find you there?
Sir, I told my PO one day I couldn't make it to the address I was at, and I told my PO I was to my girlfriend's house in Sunset, and he asked me to meet him at a store. And when I met him at the store, that's when he had told me, asked me what's the address, and I told him I just met this female and stuff. He said he need every address. I never told him I was living there. I told him I'd be there most of the time. Like once I'm in Sunset, it'd be hard to get gas money to go back to Broussard, to go see him the next day. Like once I'm stuck in a place, I gotta wait at least probably 2 or 3 days till somebody come get me. So I therefore never went to the office and switched my address or none of that. He just took the address down at the store, and on his behalf, he asked me where I be at most of the time, and I told him there. And I guess he transferred me. And the last conversation I had with him, we weren't seeing eye to eye. On that behalf, I never changed my address. I just gave him another address I be at.
Okay, because you gotta let them know where you're at. AKK, that's one of your conditions, let your parole officer know where you're at all times. How did you end up in Arkansas?
Yeah, I got right here, this is nothing but check stuff for the whole year I was out. I've been working in New Orleans and in Houma. And then when I lost the job at Lowe's, I went to Arkansas at the end of the year for a job stuff, a job interview, and I got hired, and then I got hired at another job, and then I've been out there to like the end of the year.
Why didn't you let your probation officer know you was in Arkansas?
Cause when I got the job, by me having the Lowe's job, I don't know why my parole officer saying he failed to appeal to see me, because I seen him multiple times and we talk, text, everything. I was just like, I felt like once I left the state where I telling him and I was to tell him, I felt like I was going, it was already over with. Like I was still at the back at the time. So I know the consequences I did, and I know the time I'm facing. I'm wrong for leaving state, but as of me not seeing him and all that, I probably missed one time. And the payment, yes, I was gonna pay around the rest off an income tax around this time. So I knew what it was.
Not that worried about the payment, so you don't even have to explain that. You did have jobs. You probably could have sent something in, but the main thing is that you never let your probation officer know exactly where you were staying, and they got to know where you are so that they can contact you. And the one out of state, without permission, without a travel permit, puts liability on the state, and it puts liability on you. So I have no further questions.
Ms. Wine,
Yeah, I have no question.
Mrs. Sherrill, would you like to make a brief statement before we vote?
Yes, sir. This is my brief statement. I did most of my time. I did 8 years. I did 8 years of my time. I was sentenced to 9 years. I did 8 years of my time. I did my time. I came home. I did everything like I'm supposed to do as a man. Came home. I found a job. I communicated with my PO. We probably didn't communicate often. I paid. I kind of didn't miss a couple payments, but I did everything, like no streets, work, 2 jobs at a time. Like I worked the whole time I was out. Like I got my everything to show. I got 4 W-2s right here. I got a house. Like I got this all within 1 year. And like I did everything except communicate, missed 2 communication with my parole, But I did everything,
Thank you, Mr. Sherrill. Is the panel ready to vote?
Sir?
Okay, Caleb, by your own admission, you was in the state of Arkansas, which is a violation of condition of parole. Therefore, I vote to revoke.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Wine,
Caleb, it's unfortunate that you can understand what it means by the residence. Tell the officer asked you, where do you stay at the most? And you said it's Sunset. So in the office mind, if both of your time is spent in Sunset, that's where you live. But in your mind, you live in Broussard. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am, I understand what you're saying.
I don't believe you do. You still look confused.
No, I don't look confused. I don't know how to explain. You know, yes, ma'am, I understand.
Yeah, but be careful in the future going forward when you're communicating with your officer. A definition of living where you live and where you stay.
Yes, ma'am.
And a lot of us get revoked because of that. The girlfriend might not want you to move her address and all that kind of stuff, but when you're on supervision, you have to just, be a little bit more careful and stay in one place until you get off paper. And then you can move around like you want.
Yes, ma'am.
There's something to think about. I'm just gonna take a chance on you. You have a very violent history, but all this time, like you said, you didn't run the streets this time and you didn't get arrested. And that speaks volume. So my vote is not revoke and continue you on supervision.
Thank you,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Wise. Mr. Sherrill,
Yes, sir.
you did not communicate with your parole officer. You left the state of Louisiana without a capital permit or even an oral permission from your parole officer. Therefore, based on your absconded, the state of Arkansas, I revoke the supervision. You have 2 votes, revoke, 1 vote, not revoke. The decision of the panel today is to revoke your supervision. You have a good day.